when you see the type of life that he lives, the kind of things that he does. And it got me even watching the sports channel once or twice. I can't remember what channel it was. And I tried to find him on the racetrack. He started go-karting at 12 years of age. He races for the KZN Kart Club at Idube Raceway based in Camperdown. He races both locally and nationally. He started go-kart racing in October 2020. Started open circuit racing end of last year at just 15 years of age. And he races for KZN Road Racing Club at Desi Raceway based in Port Shepstone. He races a Nissan 35OZ, whatever that means. I have no idea. He's going to explain us. And a Mini. I've seen the Mini though, so I know it's cool. When he raced the Junior Max category in the year 2021 and 2022, he came second in KZN. In 2022, he raced the Africa Open and came 7th in Africa. And he's just 15 years old. How absolutely cool is that? So I decided that we had to get this young go-kart racer and open circuit racer into studio. And not just that, if you are one of our Facebook viewers, then you would see he didn't come with a racing car. That would have been cool. We're going to plan something like that for Sook maybe, where he can come do a little show and tell. But he came fully decked up, fully dressed up, helmet and everything, to take us and give us an insight into the life of a go-kart racer at just the age of 15 years old. So you can watch that live on Radio Al Ansar's Facebook page. You can also stream or spread the word with your friends and family around the world. If they want to listen to Radio Al Ansar, they can just search Al Ansar simplestreaming.co.za and you search under Al Ansar Radio, and that is your streaming link. But just find us on YouTube or Facebook and you can get to watch us there as well. Let's welcome Muhammad Maahir Wahab. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let's hear you. Was your mic on? There we go. Well, let's go again. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Good to have you in the studio. And after all those fancy introductions, the first thing that caught all of our eyes now was the fact that you came fully dressed up. So thank you for going the full mile. And how hard or how easy it is to actually get into this?
No, it's fairly simple. It's
like a onesie.
Yeah.
Is it comfortable?
It's comfortable, but it gets very hot when you're racing on the track.
I would imagine. So tell me, how did you actually start doing this? Was it this whole look or this whole vibe that attracted you to it? Was it something you maybe watched on TV? Was it maybe your dad? And I know who your family loves their cars as well. So tell us what got you first intrigued by this at the beginning.
No, it started off during COVID when we were sitting at home and we were bored. So then my father decided to take me to the karting track in Camperdown. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I sat into the kart, I fell in love with it straight away. I knew that's what I wanted to do.
Is it something that you had to get trained for, or how long did it take for you to actually get used to it?
For me, it took me like at least 2 months to get used to it, get better. But for some people, it takes them a couple of years. I just took a liking to it straight away.
That's cool. So for some people, it takes a couple of years. For you, just 2 months. Wow, that's awesome. So tell us, what are some of the first things that you had to do when you got started now? So what did you do first on the track? Like, what was those first few months like?
You first have to learn the basics of what's the racing line, the accelerator, the brake, where you have to turning, your apexing, all of that.
Translation.
Where you have to turn into the corners, how you have to exit, all of that.
Okay, so similar like a driving lesson, but how different is it to driving a car, which I don't assume you do yet because you're 15, but I'm assuming you do, but we won't say that to everybody. But how different is it to a normal car and driving a go-kart?
It's completely different. The handling of a go-kart compared to a car the go-kart is more direct to a car, your turning wise and everything, and it's more sensitive on the accelerator, braking. Yeah.
And tell us about some of the competitions that you actually had to take part in. What are some of the most memorable ones for you?
Probably
There's been a lot in your long life.
The most memorable one was probably my first race win, where I somehow managed to beat the SA champion who was dominating the whole of last season.
Wow.
In the final race, I found some pace somewhere magically in the kart, and I managed to pull out a win, and I beat him in all 3 races.
And how long are these races?
15 laps each. You have 3 races, which are all 15 laps.
Sure. And it just keeps going round and round like 15 times? Oh my word. And have there been any of those dramatic incidents like what you see on TV and the cars going off onto the grass? And tell us about some of those.
There's been a few hectic ones. I've been involved in a few.
Do you want to share those, or are we going to be scarred for life?
I can say one. The one was when it was the start of a national where there was like 25 karts, and going into the first turn, one of the karts, he came over me, he flew over me. But I managed to get my cart back on and I carried on the race.
Wow, but alhamdulillah, at least you are safe. But it is a reality that people need to know as well, that there are risks involved. So how do you end up participating in these races? How do you have to join a club? Like you mentioned, you did join a particular club. Tell us about that now. So you have to sign up with a club, or how does it work to get involved with these races?
You have to join a club, and then when you join a club, they have like teams that will teach you, train you. Like I joined Punjabi racing. They taught me all the basics and helped me get to where I am.
Oh, wow. So what are some of the things that people need to know now? So if you have a youngster like yourself that is perhaps listening, or his mom or dad, and thinks, hey, my son would love to do something like this, what should they do first?
They should go and they should visit the track in Camperdown, and they can speak to the people there. They're very helpful. They'll help you. They explain to you what you need, how it is. And then you can they'll tell you what you need to get, and then they'll teach you everything.
I think that's nice also that you mentioned that. It's nice to see it firsthand also. Then you kind of understand what it's about and if it's actually something that you want to do. Now, you tell us a little bit about what do you have to wear essentially as a go-kart racer or open circuit racer. What do you typically wear?
So firstly, you have to have your full race suit, which is fireproof and FIA approved.
And this is from the beginning, from the time you start, you have to wear like this.
From the first time you sit in a cart, you have to have your suit,
okay,
your gloves, which has to also be fireproof.
Okay.
Your racing boots, your balaclava, which is to protect your face from burning in case of a fire, your helmet, and then some people have neck braces. So if you meet up with an accident, it prevents your neck from flying back and getting it. For you, in case you get injured, it stops that.
Wow, that's what you brought with us into the studio. Okay, so thank you. That's really quite interesting to know. So let's take a little bit through again some of your highlights. I want to talk about the ones that you said that you competed in. The big one that you said, was that in 2022, and you came out 7th in Africa. Tell us about that one.
Oh, that one it was a hectic race. The day before we had the nationals, which I was off the pace dramatically. And then the next day we had the African Open where I suddenly found pace and I was with the pack. And then the last race was the final where it determines if you win the championship and go to overseas for the finals. But I was so close to getting a trophy. I was less than 1/10 behind the 6th place guy. In the last 10, I made the move, but then I just slid off too much. I pushed too much into the corner and I lost the place again.
Wow.
But I managed to keep my 7th place.
You managed.
And I was happy with that.
But that's great for and how the age bracket is it? Are all of you in the same age?
Gee.
Okay.
For the category that I raced at, it was from 12 to 14.
Wow. 12 to 14. I can't even imagine 12-year-olds doing it like that. My word. So what would be the next step now? So what are the plans now going forward? Do you do this? How often are you planning to do this?
We used to do it every weekend, but now with school, it's been hard.
I can imagine the work, the assignments. So what's the vision? What's the game plan now for the next few years as you're in high school and so forth and after? Is there plans to take it further?
That's the plan, but I don't think I'll be able to because my parents aren't allowing me.
Ooh. That just came out on national radio, international radio. Okay, so the parents, this is interesting.
They said I must do that as a social. But it is true.
It is true. Okay, so let's see now. But what would you like to do?
Carry on racing.
Do you see yourself doing, as our technician here, Zach said, the Formula One? Inshallah. Or do you see yourself doing that?
That's the goal.
That's the goal. So keep that goal there in the front, inshallah. And if it's meant to be, you never know. But you'll follow the advice, of course, of your parents. And their support is everything, I suppose. They're always there to support you and they'll do what is best for you at the end of the day. So would that would be the ultimate vision? Tell us a little bit about the open circuit and go-kart. What is open circuit now and go-kart?
Open circuit is racing with cars.
Okay.
And that's like triple the size of a go-kart. So, but the handling of a kart compared to a kart, it's much easier to drive a car from my perspective. But for some people, it would be probably a kart would be easier for them than a car.
What would you do between the two? I prefer
the car. Well, karting-wise, it's more fun.
Yeah.
Car racing is, how must I say it? It's safer. Yeah, it's more simple.
More simple and safer. Yeah, this is from Zach, who also, and you can just see the moment I shared with people that this is what we're getting into studio today, people were like, yeah, let's hear more about that. This is something so interesting and different. And you always see it on the streets, you see it on TV and stuff, but it's a different ball game altogether when you talk about it. And especially like you mentioned, at 15 years of age, and you've got to think, is it something you'll do just on the side? If it's something you actually would want to pursue, if you could, what would you want to be after school? Or what career or field would you want to go into? Have you thought about that? No, you haven't.
What I want to do.
Because your mind and heart is on this so far. It's sold on it, right? Yeah, well, inshallah, if it's meant to be, then that is exactly where you would want to go. Tell us, how does this make you feel every time you enter the track, or every time you get into this gear, and every time I can see how comfortable you are in this, your body language and everything, and that this is what you love. As a passion, as a career, that's what every to feel that excited about what they do. So what would you say to other parents that perhaps are closing their eyes right now and thinking, oh my gosh, this sounds like my son, and I'm so scared to put him on a race track, and I'm so petrified of this, it's such a dangerous sport. What would you say to them, and how does it make you feel to do what you do?
Once I put all my gear on, you just go into a different zone, into a different world. You don't worry about what's outside, you only focus on what's in front of you. So if other people like it, they should take their children, go and see how it is, talk to people, get information about it, and then try out from there.
Or maybe just go for more go-kart sessions wherever. Is it similar to the ones you get at the malls and stuff?
No, it's completely different.
Nothing like that, eh? No, I don't stand a chance then. But Mohammed Maahir, thank you so much for talking to us. It's been an absolute pleasure, and it's been really exciting. If I could, I don't think I could even, no, I couldn't fit this into my head. But are these custom made? Or would it fit just anybody?
It will fit anybody. It comes in different sizes.
Ah, okay. So this is your helmet. And is it any different to this one you would wear specifically for go-karting?
No, you can use it for go-karting, car racing, biking.
And you can brand it anyhow as well, however you like. So we got your WMS Wahab Motorsports here as well. So if anybody is going to be sponsoring you in future, then we know their logo and branding is going to go all over this, right? I can see on your outfit as well that you've got the branding and the Palestine merch, and of course, and we hope and pray, inshallah, you'll be on a much larger platform one day, and you'll be able to do that, and we'll see the South African flag and the Wahab name and the everything else, whatever going with it as well. We wish you lots of success, inshallah, and I'm sure you've inspired and encouraged many people to perhaps look into it a little bit if they would be keen to. Where did you say they must go again? Camperdown.
Camperdown.
If they want to.
Raceway.
Idube Raceway. Ah, okay. We shall come. And when's your next exciting race or anything we can look out for anyway? And
next week, Saturday.
Where do we go? Or where do
Jefferson. Desi's Raceway.
So is it screened on TV or YouTube?
No,
or
not this one.
So, okay.
Not as yet.
We'll wait for it. We'll wait for the news. But thank you, Mohammed Maahir. It was wonderful talking to you, and well done on your first time on radio also. The first of many. I can say when you're big and famous one day, you can say that was my first radio interview, huh? And we'll talk to you again in the next 10 years' time when you come with your big trophy next to you as well. But Jazakallah, shukran. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
And we thank his parents as well, and his sister, his fan base that's already here, the paparazzi in studio that have joined us today to be a part of this program as well. On the other side of this, already in our studio is the one and only Zuleika Ismail, popular doula around Durban. The moment I even put the word out that she's going to be on the show today, I had everybody message to say, oh, we just love her, and this is what she did for me, and this is how she is. And there's no words to explain what she's done for so many mothers in Durban. And we talk about what makes the making of a mother between 3:30 and 4 o'clock. Don't go away.